How's it going, fellow Detroit Red Wings fans? So, some big news for Red Wings fans dropped over the previous weekend that the Red Wings were taking calls for Tyler Bertuzzi, and that Detroit is not against moving him. Which is shocking because of what he has become in Detroit. He is beloved by the fans, a rough player who can put up some good numbers. I mean, last season he had 7 points in 9 games played. And over the course of his NHL career so far, he has 126 points in 208 games played, not to mention adding in 119 penalty minutes. Now, we aren't going to say whether or not we think the Red Wings should trade Bertuzzi. There's pros and cons to each side. Just to be clear, this trade would have to be more than the Mantha trade, because Bertuzzi has the grit and killer instinct that Mantha doesn't have. And in terms of points per game, Mantha edges out Bertuzzi only by a little bit. So the cons. The cons are all about the team right now. The core group is definitely attached to Bertuzzi. Larkin and Bertuzzi both played in Grand Rapids and have played with the Red Wings together for a while now. Fabry played with Bertuzzi in the OHL and seemed to be one of the players he grew close to, especially early on. Not to mention Anthony and Mantha, who were traded away, grew through the rankings with him. So losing Bertuzzi, regardless of what we get in return, will likely have an emotional effect on the team. Also, trading away one of your best wingers and forwards who can score with the type of game Blashill coaches will hurt the offense. Maybe not bring them back to dead last, but you could imagine a struggling offense would hurt more losing one of its top performers. The biggest con, though, I would say, is the long-term effects of this trade, or even taking calls for Bertuzzi, is that no player will feel they are safe. When Yzerman was announced as general manager for the Detroit Red Wings back in 2019, he said that the foundation for a core group was there, speaking about Larkin, Bertuzzi, Mantha, Athanasiou, and Hronek. Flash forward 2 seasons later, 2 of those guys are gone and 1 is being called for. Does that mean Larkin and Hronek could possibly be traded? It can create an unnecessary pressure for the players who are already struggling to win. Adding emotional battles definitely doesn't help. Alright, to the pros. I know it seems doom and gloom, but there is some upside to this, or else it wouldn't even be considered. So the pros, mostly going about the future. Maybe not necessarily next season, but after and for years down the road. The one advantage the Red Wings have and should make fans excited is that there's no pressure to move Bertuzzi. Like, Bertuzzi is not leaving for free agency. They are not cap-strapped where another team could offer sheet him. He hasn't spoken about wanting a trade, or been so much disgruntled that is affecting the team like Laine and Pierre-Luc Dubois for their teams this season. Meaning if a team like the Toronto Maple Leafs who need a player to fill in that hole, Hyman will most likely leave in free agency, or if Montreal wants a young talented forward to go along with their up-and-coming prospects, they will have to pay a hefty price. This is prime territory for a team to overpay, which is great for the Red Wings. They need more assets and top-tier assets at that. So if one of those teams wants to mortgage some of their future for Bertuzzi right now, why not? It also opens up a roster spot for a younger player like Raymond, Berggren, maybe Svechnikov to play in. Also could give us the ability to move Fabry to the wing and have maybe one of our top center prospects like Rasmussen or Veleno center that second line. This trade also probably has to be with the timeline. It doesn't seem like Bertuzzi will have a lot of years left to play when the Red Wings do become competitive again. Maybe Bertuzzi wants to go to a team where he can make the playoffs and possibly chase the cup, and show everyone how good he truly is. Regardless, the return will most definitely have a first-round pick and a solid prospect and possibly more, which will make the team more competitive in the future and put more players at the right age, so when they do inevitably become competitive again and are competing for the Stanley Cup, most of them will be in their primes, giving their best of their careers to earn the biggest prize in hockey. So what would a Bertuzzi trade look like? I mean, he went through surgery, but he did put up 7 points in 9 games played right before that. He hasn't had any seasons where he put up insane numbers, but he's also the heart and soul of the team. One mock trade was Vancouver receiving Bertuzzi and the Red Wings taking Louis Eriksson's contract, their first round draft pick at 9th overall, and a 2022 second round draft pick. Now, on paper, this makes sense if we're trying to get rid of Bertuzzi. We're not, and we're going to require teams to pay a higher premium for Bertuzzi. If they had next year's first round pick instead of a second round draft pick, this would make more sense. Also, the Toronto Maple Leafs are supposedly really interested in obtaining Bertuzzi, likely because of the need for a second-line winger who could play along with some of their top players. Not to mention, Shanahan has talked about the Maple Leafs needing that killer instinct to take them to the next level. Well, Bertuzzi fills out both of those things. Not to mention, he is still fairly young at 26 years old. Plus, their need to get past the first round is growing with each year. Shanahan may be tempted to pull the trigger on a big trade, most likely being Rasmus Sandin, the Maple Leafs' second round pick this year, and next year's first round pick for Tyler Bertuzzi. That is a pretty good trade. Sandin would be a good addition. He is a left-handed defenseman. He's a really good defenseman who just unfortunately has felt the effects of a logjam on the Toronto Maple Leafs defensive roster. This last season, Sandin played 9 games for the Maple Leafs, earning 4 assists while averaging 14 minutes and 39 seconds a night. And then, of course, you add in the first round pick, which, if somehow the Maple Leafs don't make the playoffs, gives us another chance at drafting Shane Wright, who would immediately be able to come in and be the Red Wings' top center. Other teams who are interested in Bertuzzi is believed to be the Philadelphia Flyers, Edmonton Oilers, Vancouver Canucks, St. Louis Blues, and the Los Angeles Kings. What do you think? Is Bertuzzi going to be traded? If so, does it hurt the team more than help? Where does he go? And what does the trade look like? Let us know down below. We appreciate your comments. We want to hear more from you. This is what Red Wing Nation was built on. Red Wing Nation was built to be a community of Red Wings fans that could come together and talk about all things Red Wings. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. And lastly, hit that subscribe button. That way you get notified when we upload a video. And until next time, lights out in the red light district.